Of all the stories making headlines across the world. We begin with Wall Street, and Wall Street was in anticipation of the decision from the U.S. Federal Reserve's Open Market Committee. And when that decision came out, U.S. stock markets embarked on an incredible rally that left analysts and traders both in awe. This Reuters report tells you all about that great upsurge in the U.S. stock markets overnight.
Wall Street's major indexes closed higher on Wednesday after the U.S. Federal Reserve, in a widely expected decision, kept interest rates unchanged. The Dow added nearly 0.7%, the S&P 500 gained 1%, and the Nasdaq jumped more than 1.6%. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, in a press conference, acknowledged the U.S. economy's strength, leaving the door open for further rate hikes to bring the annual inflation rate closer to the central bank's 2% target. But another hike likely won't come before year's end, says Eric Ditton, president and managing director of the Wealth Alliance.
I don't think it's happening this year, simply because the markets have done the Fed's dirty work. What I mean by that is that longer rates, the 10-year, has moved up a good 1% in the last few months. We hit 5%, which we haven't seen since 2007. That's a major tightening of credit. And that in and of itself can slow the economy. That allows the Fed to kind of sit back and watch. And that's what they're doing.
Earnings season, now about halfway through, has been a mixed bag for stocks, even though about 80% of S&P 500 companies that have reported beat analysts' expectations for the quarter. Still, investors were disappointed by many quarterly updates. Estee Lauder shares tumbled almost 19% after the beauty products maker cut its annual profit outlook. Payroll processor Paycom Software saw its shares plunge 38.5% after it projected for downbeat fourth quarter revenue. And shares of Tinder owner Match Group fell more than 15% after it also forecast fourth quarter revenue below estimates.
All right, let's quickly now shift focus away from stock markets and take a look at a huge event that took place on an important piece of technology that we are all grappling with, and that is artificial intelligence. Take a look at this.
And here we are for the first time, really in human history, with something that's going to be far more intelligent than us.
Elon Musk expressed grave concern about the rapid development of artificial intelligence on Wednesday at the world's first major summit on AI safety.
It's one of the existential risks that we face, and it's potentially the most pressing one.
Musk said the aim of the inaugural two-day summit was to establish what he called a third-party referee to observe AI development and to sound the alarm if needed. Fears about the impact AI could have on economies and society took off last year when Microsoft-backed OpenAI made ChatGPT available to the public. Some worry that in time, machines could achieve greater intelligence than humans, resulting in unintended consequences. In a first for Western efforts to manage the dangers, China's Vice Minister of Science and Technology joined U.S. and EU leaders, as well as tech bosses, at England's Bletchley Park, home of Britain's World War II codebreakers. It was here the country signed the Bletchley Declaration, an agenda focused on identifying issues with AI and developing policies to mitigate them.
I firmly believe that we must be guided by a common set of understandings among nations.
In a speech at the U.S. Embassy in London, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris called for urgent global action to address potential threats posed by AI.
From AI-enabled cyber attacks at a scale beyond anything we've seen before, to AI-formulated bioweapons that could endanger the lives of millions of people. These threats are often referred to as the existential threats of AI, because, of course, they could endanger the very existence of humanity.
The United States used the British summit to announce it would establish a new AI Safety Institute, which will assess potential risks. Harris's decision to give her speech and hold some meetings with attendees away from the summit raised some eyebrows, with some executives and lawmakers suggesting Washington was trying to overshadow Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's summit. British officials denied that, saying they wanted as many voices as possible. And later in the day, Sunak welcomed Harris to 10 Downing Street for dinner. She plans to attend the British summit on Thursday.
Now, global retail giant Walmart is revving up and it is all set to pump in $9 billion to revamp its entire offering, all the stores it has all across the world. What is the Walmart revamp all about? This Reuters report tells you all about. So that's as far as Walmart is concerned. Moving on, in a tradition that has become as anticipated as Halloween itself, supermodel and television host Heidi Klum once again stole the spotlight at her annual Halloween party. Klum, known for her extravagant and jaw-dropping costumes, did not disappoint this year as she, quote-unquote, peacocked her way into the festivities. If you're wondering what that's all about, take a look at this.
I never thought that 22 years later I'd be still, at 50, jumping up and down like a peacock. I wanted that many people become one thing, and I thought, what could that one thing be? And I thought the most beautiful is like a peacock, and all the beautiful colors, and plus, when he is not excited, I guess he's all together, and then you have that moment when all the feathers fan out. So I thought we could give it like a fun moment. And, every year coming up with something, surprising people, inspire people, because I feel like this is how creative people all egg each other on. They see something, they're like, oh my gosh, now I want to do this. And everyone does these types of things in their own way, but I feel like this is how we all egg each other on.
Fascinating to see a supermodel, a global supermodel, take to India's national bird, the peacock, for Halloween. But with that, we've completely run out of time here on this edition of Global Business Report. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off. Keep it with News9 Live.
News9 big coverage of 5 assembly polls. Mandate 2023.